Hello all! Thanks for joining us on Two Analyzers and Beyond, the talk show where two analyzer folks discuss the process analytics world and topics beyond analyzer. Hi, I am Corentin Thierry, Sales Manager here at BARTEC US for our Process Analytical Technology PAT Group. And today, we actually have a three-man show during which one of our suppliers, FITOK, will be joining me to discuss how BARTEC provides custom solutions by partnering with third parties. As you know, the BARTEC Group manufactures numerous physical property analyzers at both our US and German factories. But most of our products would be considered standard. We do some customization, but when it reaches out beyond our manufacturing capabilities, we have no other choice but to call out third parties. So with this in mind, guys, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Glad to be here.
Glad to have you guys here. Why don't you tell me more about yourselves?
Yeah, sure. So, hello, my name is Long No. I'm one of the regional business development managers for FITOK here in Houston. I am responsible for the Western United States. I was with Discount Tire for about 15 years.
Interesting.
Half of my life, I would say. But obviously this opportunity came about, wonderful opportunity, and really and truly I'm just passionate about serving people and taking care of people. So I don't live far from here, Kingwood, a couple acres with my family. I got a wife, 3 kids. Outdoors, we stay a lot outside. Outdoors is fun.
Outdoors is fun, especially in Texas.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot to do.
So yeah, I mean, we spend a lot of time outside. Obviously, there's always ongoing projects and yard work to do. So those have become my hobby. And
Trees that fall that need to be chopped off.
oh, I do a lot of that stuff.
I know the feeling.
Get the kids with the chainsaws. It's wonderful. Those have became a lot of hobbies of mine, which I enjoy.
So Matt, how about yourself?
Yeah, thanks again for having us on the show. We're really excited about
Always a
being
pleasure.
here. My name is Matt Blomstrom. I am the Vice President of FITOK globally now, so I'm responsible for the FITOK group of companies when it comes to sales and marketing. And I've been here for about 2 years. My career path maybe is a little bit non-typical. I started in the industry, in the oil and gas industry, as a diver. So doing work subsea under the water.
In the hot tropicals of the Caribbean.
Yeah, actually, I got the ability to travel all over the world, which was
very cool.
Which was really nice. I got to see a lot of different places, got to see a lot of different things, but spent most of my time in subsea oil and gas. And then over time, just a series of opportunities led me to the sales side of things, and I became familiar with FITOK, and obviously now I'm here today. Similar to Long, I spend a lot of time outside because I have 5 children. My wife and I live just north of Houston, and so we spend most of our time outside, camping, youth sports. That's typically what we do with most of our time.
What sports, if you don't mind me asking? What do you guys do?
We like to ride dirt bikes as a family. I have 3 boys,
Yes.
so most of them like to ride dirt bikes, and so we get outside to do that. And we've got one of our kiddos pretty passionate about baseball, and baseball in Texas is pretty serious. So we spend a lot of our weekends just doing baseball.
That's fun. It is really fun. Well, guys, I'm glad that we got to know you a bit better. Now, why don't you talk a bit about FITOK so that, we get a good understanding and just, an introduction for all of our viewers, for them to, understand better, not only what you did with me, but as a whole, FITOK is a really large company, and I'm sure there's many other things than what you did for me that you guys actually provide.
Yeah, so FITOK was founded in 1998, so about 20 years ago, around the idea of a commodity product, actually. And we found a lot of our success and growth really centered around providing solutions and having a continuous improvement culture. And fast forward to today, we have locations all over the world with the manufacturing base and sales quarters here, which is where we office out of, in Stafford, Texas.
I see.
Sales and service centers in the Middle East as well. We have several facilities in China, one in Wuhan, That's a mass manufacturing base and actually a part of an ongoing expansion to an even larger facility, which would be fully automated manufacturing.
On the top of your mind, do you know size-wise more or less?
The final facility in Wuhan, once the expansion is complete, will be over 100,000 square meters.
Oof, square meters?
Yes.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah, it's a significant facility. So we'll have a technology center there. We'll actually have a small education and training facility as well for the local community, which we're pretty excited about.
That's good.
The other two facilities in China, one is in Shenzhen.
Mm-hmm.
That's also a manufacturing base for mass manufacturing. And we also have a facility in Suzhou, which is a tube mill. So this is where we produce all of our tube products, from seamless tubing, seamless stick tubing to coil tubing. And this is pretty unique for us because most manufacturers of instrument grade valves and fitting pressure products don't actually manufacture their own tube. So for us, this is actually a strength, something newer to our group of companies, but we're also really excited about it.
I see that you have a site in Germany. I see R&D and Manufacturing Center. Can you share a bit more about this? Because as you know, BARTEC is a German group and we have many factories in Germany.
Yeah, so I think it's probably fair at this point to say that the reason we do this is because the Germans are really good at certain things. And so we do a lot of our research and development, first article testing at that facility. Mm-hmm. And then we also have the ability to manufacture a good portion of our product line. Okay. Yeah, so as you can see, these facilities really have allowed us to have a global footprint. And they're strategically placed so that we can draw on the core strengths of each region. Mm-hmm. And part of this is the new plant being brought online. You see in the U.S., we say that it's manufacturing based. So we're currently in the process as we speak of bringing manufacturing online, and that project will be complete by the end of this year, 2020. Okay. And then the expansion and an additional facility in South Korea should be finished by the end of 2021.
Very exciting.
So lots of activity, a lot of movement happening on the manufacturing side of FITOK as we continue to grow to be able to support the market.
So do you get to go to China a lot?
So we have to really focus on saying get to and transitioning that to have to, from have to get to, yeah. But yes, I have been to be able to see the facilities. I think it's really important that you do get the opportunity to go see the facility because that's really where we started. We owe a lot of our success to the people that are there that make the work happen behind the scenes. So it's nice to be able to go see that, see the level of detail that gets put into products like this that oftentimes you really wouldn't think have that much care and that much dedication to making a product.
So when can I sign up for Chinese classes with you?
I'll let you know whenever I do that.
All right, so what is that?
So as I mentioned, FITOK has several standard product lines, and these have just been developed over time. The first one that was developed and where we got our start was general instrumentation, valves, and fittings, and that's what we labeled this. But really, this is instrument-grade products from a 1/16 of an inch to 2 inch. So that's everything from fittings and adapters to valves, automated valves, and even some manifold-style products that go into that. We also have a medium and high-pressure product line, which allows us to get up to the 60,000 PSI range. And
offshore, I'm guessing?
Actually, there's several markets that this is applicable to, from aerospace, so a lot of the ground control support for aerospace, pulp and paper. There's an entire water blast industry that uses a lot of this product. So lots of opportunity for the medium and high pressure. That closely mimics the general instrumentation in terms of offering. It's just a much higher pressure range. High purity and ultra high purity products. This recently was combined as we continue to develop into the semiconductor market, but that's where the majority of this is used, but also in pharmaceutical, biopharmaceutical applications. And then the sampling systems is our only systems level product line. But we do have a little bit of overlap there, or something in common when it comes to sample systems, because oftentimes where our sample systems would be used, BARTEC too would have instruments in those places. So that covers a closed loop sampling system product that's a pretty wide range. And then last, but obviously not least, I spoke about this earlier, only because we're just so excited about the product in itself. It's a newer range for us. Tube had been a part of the FITOK product line in general for general instrumentation, for medium high pressure, and even high purity, ultra high purity, but never did we have enough of a capability for it to be its own product line. So this is our last product line for now, and that is tube products.
From, you said 16th to 2-inch.
Yeah, that's 16th of an inch to 2-inch. It's, seamless stick tube, even coil tube. So as you can see, the product lines in general there's a pretty big range, and this has just happened gradually over time. But really, the way this has happened is based on our approach to the market. So we typically will take any opportunity to help provide a solution where a solution may be needed, and oftentimes this leads to us developing a new product or even improving on an existing product, which is actually how our product lines just continue. Okay, this is probably my favorite part. What I'm most passionate about. We oftentimes talk at FITOK about the product, and we've really done a good job of getting that part right. But we still have a whole lot of responsibility to the market in general, and that's really where we come into play. So this just gives you a good idea of where we put our focus. And number one is customer focus and market driven. This is really, for us, this is the pulse of FITOK. This is where we started, and this is really who we are, still who we are today. Second is innovative solutions. So sometimes this could sound like it might be really complex, but this could be something as basic as tailoring a delivery or having supply chain solutions to make sure that we can respond in a timely manner to the demand of whatever the market might need. But beyond that, even exotic materials, being able to respond quickly by having exotic material, new products and custom solutions, and even the way we approach developing existing products in the market, just so that we can continue that, like I mentioned earlier, that continuous improvement culture is a big part of what we do. Third, engineering excellence. As an organization, we put a great deal of stock in our engineering program. We have over 60 engineers specifically dedicated to new product development and continuous improvement on existing products. So each of inside of that group, each of those engineers are dedicated at least once a year to release a new development on an existing product or develop an entirely new product. So there's constantly new activity with us when it comes to product development and product improvement.
And yeah, I think that's really what you want to do. One of my former bosses used to say, if you're not ahead of the game, you're falling behind. So you always want to be bringing up new stuff. You always want to be innovative, because otherwise you're falling behind. So yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a big part of why we're successful, is not resting on previous accomplishments, not getting comfortable with what we have done, but constantly striving to improve. And not just on the product side, but also on the quality side. So we have a great deal of passion for quality. This really goes a great deal beyond the product. Most would assume oftentimes that this is just centered around the product, but for us, we really believe this is a key factor in what sets FITOK apart. Yes, it is about our product, and yes, we produce a quality product, but also our service and the details behind what we do, all the way down to how we package our product.
Yeah, I believe it's right. It's the people behind the product. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And last but definitely not least is our global manufacturing system. For us, this is something that's a part of our organization that will just continue to evolve. As we grow, this will continue to evolve. Our strategy with manufacturing is centered around being able to maintain competitive deliveries and cost-effective products while having a touch on all the major markets globally. So being positioned to be able to support all of those major markets, but then also making sure that we draw on, like I mentioned earlier, the strengths of each region so that we can produce the best product and maintain these things that we originally came with.
Well, thanks a lot for this presentation of the FITOK Group. I think it was very instructive. I even learned stuff myself.
Yeah, good.
Now, I cannot not say anything about this beaker that you brought. So
yeah, absolutely.
I recognize this. I know
Seen that before.
Yes, because we put one of these with one of our customers with this moisture probe. So basically the background of the story is that we had a customer that uses this moisture probe. It's a hydrophil product line in the process, and in order to match measurements, they wanted to put this in the lab. Now the thing is,
So just real quick, they wanted to be able to mimic
yes,
what they were getting in the field using the same product from
in the lab.
BARTEC, but they wanted to be able to mimic that in the lab.
In the lab.
Okay.
The thing though is that this was designed for installation of the process. We have done and we do sometimes lab installations, but it's not our core business. So we don't have the solutions to be able to install this in the lab. I mean, we can provide the whole system, but in the end, for them to be actually able to insert it in a measurement cell,
Sure.
we don't provide that. And through one of my colleagues, that's when I got in touch with Long, and you guys came up with this. So the idea was there are multiple ports where the customer can put temperature probes, pressure probes, but most importantly, our moisture probe.
Yeah.
So they can circulate this. They can circulate the sample through this beaker. We call it a beaker. You guys might have a different name for it.
Yeah, sure.
And and
Get a representative sample.
Mm-hmm.
And so for us, that was a big gain, because then we were able to meet the customer's demand, customer's need, by partnering with you guys. So that's what I've enjoyed. That's what I have been able to capitalize on. So with this being said, what can you tell us about this beaker? What's so unique about this beaker? Because I definitely see benefit to it, but I'm sure there's a lot more that I don't see in a piece of equipment.
I mean, absolutely. It was very exciting when the opportunity came about. I mean, just kind of like Matt mentioned earlier, our FITOK has been, still is to this day, is just solutions driven. That's just who we are. I mean, we were able to utilize our strengths in supply chain and engineering to do a project like this. Pretty incredible.
Because this is all FITOK valve, FITOK fittings. You guys, as you said, the engineering. You also the core body of the beaker was also welded at your facility. So this is a fully 100% FITOK product.
Absolutely, 100% manufactured by us.
That's very good. That's very good. That's very practical. That's the kind of thing we cannot do. That's what I was alluding to earlier, that whenever we get into, I would say, highly customized at this point, we have to get in touch with a third party so that we can deliver this kind of finished product.
Yeah, so while we have our wide range of standard products, we pride ourselves. We pride ourselves in remaining flexible and producing and manufacturing, something like this. Like in this case, we were able to call upon our project delivery team, which is a team of supply chain and engineering roles that focus specifically on the quick turn projects.
Okay. So that would be for me it would pretty much always be this kind of very customized products. So I'm guessing that's a team I would be working with. For all
absolutely.
those projects.
Yeah. Anytime we have a lot of people call it a custom solution, but really if it's a one-off or if it's a solutions-driven opportunity, then that is what we use. We use our project delivery team. And it's a smaller group of people, but specifically focused on taking a quicker turn, something that didn't exist prior to us having the discussion, and then getting that pumped out from engineering and into our manufacturing system, and obviously into your hands in a relatively short time frame.
So the question is there anything you cannot do?
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah, we got to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, in the wheelhouse.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's still, for us, this still needs to remain centered on our strength. So most of this, much like BARTEC, this is still centered around the analytical side of the business when it comes to instrumentation, right? So this is just a series of our compression fittings, our tube fittings, our ability to take raw material and put it into a specific form, in this case the beaker, and then obviously a valve, which is also something that we manufacture. So this is truly a perfect example of how we got our start and where we are today.
What I can share with you, though, what I can share with everyone is that the one that's currently at the customer site has been in use for, I want to say 6 months.
Yeah.
Probably more than 6 months now. And it's working well. It's working really well. So we had it coated.
Internally, right?
Internally,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. We had it coated with a hygrophilic special coating, and it's working great for them. They've commented, they've shared that, they're able to use it. They run many different types of samples, and it's working really great for them. So it's great, true success. I mean, it's
Awesome.
It did what we wanted it to do, and it's working as we were expecting it to work. So we need to do this more often.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Guys, we're going to take a small break here.
Okay.
And then after the break, we'll come back and discuss more about general events and how FITOK is evolving in the world. We'll see you in a minute.
Man, I can't believe I have to fix this again. It's the third time this month. I can't believe management would go to the supplier. This stuff ain't worth a penny.
Man, tell me about it. I've been twice this week to the South Campus to try to fix the same exact issue. But guess what?
What?
I'm tired of missing my lunch for this. I'm tired of missing my family time for this. I'm not taking it no more. We need to go with a different supplier.
It's unfortunate, isn't it? Well, if you had a BARTEC system, this is how this would look like.
Guess what?
What?
We went with BARTEC, and I ain't got to worry about fixing this anymore, and it works every time. Now I can eat my lunch.
If you want your techs to be like those two happy campers, then reach out to BARTEC. Feel the difference that superior equipment makes on scheduled maintenance as well as technician satisfaction. Reach out to us and let us show you how you can improve your plant performance as well as solving your lunchtime issues. Right all, so welcome back. Guys, that was very interesting, the FITOK introduction. We got to talk about our specific project. Now, more generally speaking, we're currently in the middle of I'm just going to say a new world, very interesting economic situation. Yeah. Can you share with us how FITOK has adapted and how FITOK is working through and with this new current or this new normal, let's put it like that?
Yeah, Corentin, it's a great question. And you mentioned something now, and you also mentioned something earlier to the likes of, if you're not growing, you're dying, right? And that doesn't really wait on anybody.
True.
Yeah, over time,
Very
forever,
true.
That's been the case. So you also mentioned adaptability. And that's really been a key for us, is making sure that we've been able to adapt to whatever the changes have been. Yeah, so us being on a web-based interview just like this is something that obviously wasn't extremely common before, but we're seeing companies all over the place beginning to do this. So more of your sales and more of your marketing activity is happening online. I'd also say that this is a great equalizer. So there's economic up and downs regionally all year long, every year, and different industries happen at different times, but this has really been the great equalizer. No industry has been immune. Truly, every industry across the world has felt the effects of this, and I'm super proud to be at FITOK and see the way that things have been handled. That we've had a minimal impact to our staff, and that we've been able to continue focusing on some of the things that we do have control over in a time like this.
And like Matt stated, it's a very tough climate, but like you said, adaptability, we have seen just the way we have adapt internally, externally, and just how we operate from a sales standpoint.
Do you think we'll ever revert to business the way it used to be, or do you foresee some sort of hybrid? And in you calling on so many customers, what have you seen? How has it been for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough sometimes to get some people over the phone and get on video, but when you're able to run through the process of this and see the productivity from it, Matt was explaining a little bit earlier, you could probably mention a little bit.
Yeah, so we were having a conversation just before this started, and I don't know, to answer your question directly, I don't know, this is my belief, I don't think we'll ever see things go back to the way they were before, because there have been so many efficiencies. If you've taken this as an opportunity, there have been so many efficiencies realized in this process. So where our sales team, which what you were mentioning, used to travel at least a week out of the month, a lot of times that was for prospects. But we can spend 80% of our time over a virtual meeting, on email, on phone calls, and get a lot of that prospect process out of the way. And that's ultimately a cost savings for a company. And I know we're not the only company that has experienced that. So I would say just that alone would lead me to believe that we will never go back to where we came from. I like the term that you used. It would probably be a hybrid. So we take some of the really good things that we've learned during this time, we're still walking through it, and apply that to how we used to do business, and hopefully come out on the other side of this thing even stronger than we were when we went into it.
Yeah, that's what we also see, or that's what we also foresee a hybrid system, just because, as you said, lots of travel was spent for, I'm not going to say useless, but not necessarily high return investment kind of trips.
Yeah, sure.
So I think that all of these in the future will kind of disappear, and travel will be restricted, I'd say, to more or higher chance projects or projects of bigger importance. I would also agree with you on that. That's also what I'm seeing.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, I would just say that we've really taken the opportunity to shift our focus more internally during this period, and do everything we can to create more value for our internal teams, suppliers, and ultimately our customers. This is, in a nutshell, I'd say that's really what we've been focusing on.
Yeah, just talking about the internal part, I've seen a lot of growth just internally as a team, right? There's tough times where this is when you need your team the most.
True.
Right? Lean on each other.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
we have daily meetings. We have meetings every morning where we can, support each other, help each other. We're always asking, how can I help you? Bounce ideas off of each other, and it creates a kind of a culture of accountability to each other, and that's how we've been seeing some success.
Yeah, it's very good. Now I'm going to ask a question, and I'd like to know as much as I can, but I understand there's limitations. What's new and upcoming at FITOK? What can you share about new developments, new projects, new products?
Yeah, actually, we do have a lot going on. Because of this, obviously, it hasn't been a great time. And a lot of people have experienced a lot of hardship. But if we've taken this as the opportunity that it is, we have started to focus on developing new products and also entering into new markets. So alternative fuels has been a really large opportunity for us. We recently, not applicable to the analytical world, but to alternative fuels, we recently obtained EC 79, which allows our product to be used on hydrogen-powered vehicles. So both commercial, heavy industrial, on-road vehicles.
So talking about this in the biofuel, so especially when you talk biodiesel and bio jet fuel, those are the two most common that I've been dealing with. The part of its composition, amongst other things, the FAME content, makes it that regular stainless just gets eaten through over time. So companies go to, I would say, different grades of material. Is that something that you guys have also started getting into?
Yes, absolutely. I mentioned earlier that exotic materials is one of our strengths. It is centered around our solutions-based mindset. So we have a large stock of product, raw material from Hastelloy to Inconel, Monel, to be able to respond quickly for products, opportunities, and situations like that. Absolutely. For the alternative fuel industry that we've really been going after, which is largely based around hydrogen, it's still a 316 or 316L, depending on the vehicle.
And that's, I would say, also our standard grade. That Beaker and even our probes are typically 316 or 316L.
Okay.
Yeah, that's also what we commonly use.
Yeah, so I'd say the focus on new markets. Obviously, there's been a lot of new activity, a lot of new labs around the country and globally for pharmaceuticals, because there's been a whole lot of trial
Oh, of course.
taking place.
Of course.
So we found a lot of good opportunity there. And then obviously we've been spending some time, as you saw at the beginning of the presentation, we've been spending quite a bit of time and resources developing newer facilities for manufacturing,
Yes.
expanding our existing facilities, and there's a whole lot that goes into that, from supply chain
I
to
would assume so.
expanding our team.
I would assume so.
So yeah, we've had quite a bit going on. What about BARTEC?
So BARTEC is also having to adapt to this new world.
Sure.
And well, what we're doing now is part of that this adaptation, because as you were saying, well, you can't really see people in person at this time, or it's just picking up. So we need to find new ways to reach out to customers, and so we've started with this online platform so that we can, well, reach out to customers and do a lot of that prospecting. So the thought behind this entire project, which includes the 2 Analyze and Beyond show, is, well, first to spread out the word, and second, whenever we do get into early prospecting, we can just share some videos, some online information where you have all the content you would normally provide. So we have other videos, and there's other recordings where we go over maybe some technical aspects, some sales
Sure.
aspects, some sales training. So we can't travel or we can't go see people, so we had to find a way for people to be able to see us, and this is the outcome.
Yeah,
This is the outcome, and it's, I'm not going to say it's been easy. There's been a lot of trial and error. There's been, from both a material standpoint, from us getting familiarized with the recordings, the green screen, which obviously the viewer cannot see, but it's there. Trust me.
Yeah.
So it's been a learning curve. It's been interesting. It's growing. It's definitely changing, but I certainly hope it's going in the right way. I'll put it like that. The traditional way of doing business is definitely not going to be applicable in the future, and
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think that is behind us. The traditional way of doing business is definitely behind us.
it's either you change or you die.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
we opted for the first option.
Yeah,
Obviously.
sure. Yeah, it's a good decision.
Well, guys, appreciate you coming. Thanks a lot for sharing all of this with us. It's been very informative. I look forward on working other projects with you guys, and can only say thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then,
Thanks again
thank
for
you.
having us on.
And thank you all. We'll be seeing you soon for another episode of 2 Analyze and Beyond. Take care.